Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sisca Halimatus Sadiah with student number 192203334. I'm going to explain about the evaluation instruments that consist of 7 instruments. First is multiple choice pilihan ganda. Second, multiple choice complex pilihan ganda kompleks. Third is fill in the blank isian melengkapi. Fourth, short answer task atau jawaban singkat. Fifth, true or false pertanyaan benar atau salah. Sixth, matching menjodohkan. And seventh is essay atau soal uraian. Okay, the first is multiple choice. In this type of question, student choose one correct answer in one item from several alternative answer given. The first part is called the stem, which can be in the form of a statement or a question. The second part is called option or alternative answers. This type of question is widely used because it is easy to assess and it doesn't take much time. When making an option of the correct answer, maybe it is easy because it only takes one to make, while for the wrong option, we need to make 3 where the answer must be made wrong, but must be misleading and should not be out of context. Here I have an example of a simple multiple choice question, where in this type of the question are made not too complex. As in this example, there is a memo. From this memo, we can develop many questions, but I only made 5 questions, and actually this can be developed more. From this example, it can be seen that to make this type of multiple choice question, we can use like what, why, when, where, did, or how question. Like number 1 and number 2, we can use who. For example, who write this memo? Number 3, why did the director write this memo? Number 4, where will the meeting be held? Number 5, when will the meeting be held? The question and answer are made not too complex, but you can make it a little tricky. Next, complex multiple choice. Complex multiple choice questions aim to test students' understanding of a comprehensive problem related to one statement to another. Like ordinary multiple choice questions, higher order thinking skill questions in the form of complex multiple choice also contain stimuli that are sourced from contextual situations. In contrast to the usual type of multiple choice, question or statement in complex multiple choice are made more complex so that they are more difficult for students. Students are given several questions related to the reading. Then students are asked to choose true or false or yes or no, or questions related to the main idea or topic, implied details or supporting ideas, and like maybe synonyms. Here I have an example for a test with this type questions. These questions I made last year for the 12th grade reading test. Here is a text about the legend of fairies in real life. There are 4 paragraphs. First paragraph is about characteristic of fairies in children's stories. Second paragraph is about the idea about origin of fairies. Third is about the origin of fairies in a memory of real people. And last is about why people no longer believe in fairies. Okay, let's see. For there are 10 questions, where in these 10 questions there are questions that ask refers to, like question number 1, true or false, question number 2, the main idea, question number 3, and the question that require a scanning and skimming strategies, and asking for synonyms of a word, like number 5 and or number 8. where students have to guess the synonyms by understanding the context of the text. There are five options in this question here, which are usually for senior high school options, mostly five. Next, three, fill in the blank atau isian melengkapi. Fill in the blank question consists of a phrase, sentence, or paragraph with a blank space where student provides the missing word or words. Students are expected to know the exact word or phrase in order to get the answer correct. Here I have two paragraphs about Thomas Alva Edison biography. This question is made for the simple past tense test, so students fill in the blank word with verb 2 or past simple. Here I give the word verb 1, which uses brackets as a clue for students. So if they want to correct answer, then they have to change the word verb 1 to past simple. Like this. Thomas Alva Edison. Thomas Alva Edison. In here B, so past simple B is was. Thomas Alva Edison was born in Milan. And here grow, the past simple of grow is grew. And student can do this to all the question. Okay, for short answer task atau jawaban singkat. This is a popular alternative to multiple choice questions following reading passages because multiple choice items are difficult to construct and validate, and classroom teachers rarely have time in their busy schedule to design such a test. A reading passage is presented, and the students read question that must be answered in a sentence or two. For example, here I use a letter about someone who wants to book a hotel. I make five questions about the letter, where students only needed to answer the question briefly. Question number one, who sends the letter? So students have to answer like Alan McGonagall sends the letter. Whom is the letter written to? The letter is for front office manager. And for question number three, five and 4 and 5, students have to answer the number one and number two. Answer briefly. 5 is true or false. Pertanyaan benar atau salah. This type of test usually consists of two columns. The first column contains several statements that are usually related to text, dialogue, or monologue, and usually students are asked to determine whether the answer is right or wrong in the second column that has been provided. To make the question about true or false, you must pay attention to the following things like the concept in questions must be correct and up to date or latest development and not have multiple interpretations. Then the question must match the indicators on the writing grid that have been prepared, and then the questions must be logical in terms of the contents of the material. Let's look at an example. Here is a letter from Michael to Lucia. When Michael wants to send a document and wants to take Lucia for a walk in Berlin, so I made 5 statements about the letter. Let's see. The first statement is Michael and Lucia were friends from school. The answer is false because last week in Sydney they meet at the sales meeting. So for number 2, they work for a company that sell things. This is the answer is true because it is correct. They work from a company that sells things. So the student have to read a verse for answer this question or statement. 6. Matching atau soal menjodohkan. Matching questions are questions that measures the student's ability to match, adjust, and connect the two statements provided. This question consists of two lines. The first row on the left is the subject matter, and the second row on the right is in the form of responses or answers. In the terms of question material, the writing of matching questions must pay attention to the following, like the question must match indicators, then question must be logical and homogeneous in terms of material, and then the formulation of the main questions and answer must be statement relating to the material being measured. For example, here I have 10 questions where the students have to match expressions with similar meanings. Column A contains expressions and column B contains similar meaning. Okay, let's see. First question is the line is busy. So students have to find out the similar meaning of the line is busy. The correct answer is B. The line is engaged. Number 2, would you hold please? The correct answer is I. Could you wait please? And 3, I'll put you through. The correct answer is A. I'll connect you. Okay, for all correct answer of the questions you can see on the screen. The last instrument is essay test atau soal uraian. This type of question is a question whose answer requires students to remember and organize the ideas or things that have been learned by expressing these ideas in the form of a written description. There are two types, objective question and non-objective question. First, objective questions are questions that require a set of answers with a certain understanding or concept so that the scoring can be done objectively. Objective questions measure the ability of students to describe certain concept according to the subject matter so that the scoring is carried out objectively. For example, here there are two questions that students are asked to mention 5 expressions of thanking and complimenting. For the scoring, for example, the maximum score for each question is 5 points if student write the 5 expression correctly. So 1 point for every expression that written correctly. If the student writes 3 correct expression, then the total point that they get are 3 points. And then non-objective questions. Non-objective questions are questions that require a set of answer in the form of understanding or concept according to the opinion of each student so that the scoring is difficult to do objectively. The non-objective form of this description measures the ability of students to describe opinions on certain concept according to the subject matter so that the scoring is done subjectively. The form of description questions must have clear and detailed scoring guidelines. For example, the question like this: make a description of monads at least 100 words. So students have to write a description about monads in 100 words or maybe more. So, and this below are the aspects that will be assessed. There are 3 aspects. First, the suitability of the content which the topic, then coherence between sentence, and last, spelling and punctuation. Where all scoring ranks are 0 to 2, if each aspect is appropriate, then the score is 2. If it not appropriate, the score is 1. And if it doesn't suitable, the score the student will get is 0. So the maximum score is 6 points. Okay, that is the last about the last instrument. So I have explained the 7 evaluation instruments, and for the examples, I hope it is clear. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.